Disney Cruise Line have just announced a massive change to their kids club on their cruise ships, and people are kind of mad. This change has come about very suddenly, is affecting all ships across the fleet. Guests who have already booked cruises with Disney Cruise Line were notified just 6 days before this went into effect. Traditionally on the Disney Cruise Line fleet, guests up to age 3 would be invited to It's a Small World nursery, which is actually a paid for extra, but all the other kids clubs on the ships are included in the price of the cruise. The Oceaneers Club has traditionally welcomed guests ranging from age 3 up to age 12, with Edge for tweens aged 11 to 14, and Vibe welcoming guests age 14 to 17. So on the 15th of December 2023, Disney Cruise Line sent out the following email. We look forward to welcoming you on board the Disney Wish, and we're writing with important information about your onboard activity spaces. I am Ree, welcome to my channel Mummy of 4 Does Disney, and we are due to sail on the Disney Wish in January of 2024. If you have watched my trip announcement video or any of the other videos on my channel, you know my son Will, also known as Willopedia because he knows everything about Disney, has always wanted to be a roller coaster designer and then more specifically an Imagineer. So his dream was to experience the Imagineers activities on the Disney Wish, and he broke it to me just a few short months ago. He wanted to do this in the Oceaneers Club, which welcomes guests up to age 12. To which I replied, but Will, you're 12 at the end of January. This does not leave us much time. So we booked the cruise during January so that he's able to go into the Oceaneers Club and experience this amazing Imagineering experience where you design your own roller coaster and then get to ride the simulation. And he was just so excited to do this. So anyway, William expressed this wish to go on the Wish, and we got it all booked. We're all very excited. And when I read you the rest of the email, you're going to find out why we were so disappointed and why people got so mad. So based on guest feedback, to enhance the youth activities experiences for our youngest and tween guests, we're updating the age range of the Oceaneers Club and the Disney's Oceaneer Lab. The revised age range will begin on sailings that depart from the 21st of December 2023, which is around a month before we sail on the Wish. The range in the Disney's Oceaneer Club and Oceaneer Lab will change from 3 to 12 years of age to 3 to 10 years of age. Kids of all ages can continue to experience these spaces during open house hours. During all other times, kids 3 to 10 years of age will have Disney's Oceaneer Club and Disney's Oceaneer Lab reserved just for them, specially guided activities for children aged 3 to 4 years old. Edge. Children age 11 and 12 may visit Edge. Edge will continue to be available to tweens age 11 to 14 years old. Vibe will continue to provide guests age 14 to 17 with their own special place where they can connect with other teens. During our youth activities open house times, guests of all ages are permitted in youth activity spaces, including Oceaneers Club and Oceaneers Lab, Edge and Vibe. Guests with children age 11 and 12 years old no longer need to complete the youth activities registration as part of the online check-in for these children. If you have a child within this age range and have already completed the online registration for Disney's Oceaneer Club or Disney's Oceaneer Lab, know that your child will attend Edge. Guests aged 3 to 10 years old may continue to utilise the online youth activities registration process as part of the online check-in. We appreciate you sailing with us and look forward to creating magical memories at sea for your family. So there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is the entire reason we booked this specific cruise and then the 7 days in Walt Disney World preceding the cruise was so that William would be young enough to go into the Oceaneers Club and Oceaneers Lab and experience the Imagineering, attraction, building activity to his heart's content. It's the whole reason we booked this trip. And now he's been told he's not allowed to do that because he's too old. Now I understand Disney's reasoning for it. Clearly trying to provide activities for both a 3-year-old and a 12-year-old in the same space is really, really challenging. And I get that. And I understand Disney's motivation behind this. Perhaps if you've got an especially grown-up or perhaps rowdy 12-year-old in with a very small 3-year-old, that's going to be a challenge. I get it. No hate for Disney for wanting to update their policies and respond to feedback from their counsellors and things. I understand. The issue is the delivery of it in such a tight timescale with people already booked on has created a lot of anger with people already booked onto these cruises. I've had so many messages and emails and DMs and comments on my videos from people that are really, really upset, and I get it. Like me, a lot of people have booked cruises specifically before a certain date, so their children are old enough to have one last go in the Oceaneers Club and the Oceaneers Lab. We haven't been on the Wish yet. We've been on the Dream and the Magic. And the Oceaneers Club just has more about it from what I've seen so far. We will obviously feedback in the vlogs as to Will's experience with Edge, and we'll do like tours of all of them during the open house. But one of the comments that really hit home for me was someone who wrote about Disney's all about preserving childhood, not forcing kids to grow up before they're ready. This change made her really sad for that reason, and I get that. It does make me really sad too, and I was really, really sad for William when I read this, and I was really worried about breaking the news to him. I've got to say, his reaction melted me. He said, "Oh well, don't worry mummy, I can still do it in the open house." And I have actually spoken to several cast members to confirm this, because Will's initial concern was, would he be able to do the full experience in the open house, because he was under the impression that the full Imagineering experience was only available during the actual kids sessions, not during the open house. I have had it confirmed by several cast members, some of which have actually been on the Wish and done the experience themselves during the open house, that the experience will be available for him during the open house. So the good news is he'll still be able to experience it. It's kind of irritating because the whole reason we booked this trip at this time was so that he could actually go into the Oceaneers Club. But all is not lost. So William said, "Mummy, we're still getting to go on the Disney cruise. I can still do the experience. It's still going to be magical," which absolutely melted my heart. The other thing that has been said by many people I've spoken to on the Shore side team, because I've spoken to a lot of people about this, and they've said that ultimately it's up to the team on board the ship and they have the final say. And I've also had a lot of messages from people who have been on Disney cruises before, who've got children who are on that cusp age, and they have asked if they can go into one club or the other, and exceptions have been made. So how strictly and rigidly they stick to this policy, we'll only find out when we get on board and we actually ask the question. It never hurts to ask as long as you're polite about it. Now, my children all have autism, which they're very high functioning, and I guess to meet them you wouldn't necessarily know, but it may play into a factor about them preferring the younger club as well. All I can say is watch this space. We will speak to Disney Cruise Line when we get on the ship. We'll speak to the club counsellors, we'll speak to whoever it is that we need to speak to, and I will very politely ask, please, 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 can William go into the Oceaneers Club, even if just for one session, to experience that without all the adults and the busyness of the open houses. And I've also heard that the open houses on the Wish are not going to be as busy as the cruises that we were on. So we went on the Magic at Sea, which was a COVID cruise, so it was kind of a weird one where there was all the social distancing and the masks and everything. So that cruise was not a typical cruise. It was a bit strange, I guess. It was amazing and magical, but the world was a funny place, so the cruise was not as you would expect it to be. The Dream that we went on in August of 2023, again, it was amazing, it was magical, but it was so busy. It was so busy. There were a lot of people around. There were always a lot of people kind of waiting to get on each experience you were having a little go at in the Oceaneer Club. So there was kind of pressure to finish up quickly and move on. But I have heard from so many people that have been on both the European cruises or seen the vlogs of the European cruises and then sailed out of Port Canaveral and just said it's such a different vibe. When you sail on the Wish out of Port Canaveral, it's much more chilled. Obviously, the Wish sails out twice a week, every single week, whereas the 4-night cruises from Southampton, I think there were 2 of them during the summer holidays. So for families wanting to stick to the summer holidays because of schools, whatever reasons, there were very limited options to choose from. So that kind of panicky scarcity mindset of it being very, very busy and very, very full and really want to maximise everything, I kind of get that. And I've had reports of that a little bit from the cruises that have gone out of Australia as well. Feedback if you've seen any vlogs or experienced it firsthand yourself going out of any of those non-American cruises. If you've sailed on an American cruise versus a cruise around the world where there's only been 1 or 2 options that would have been available to people, has there been a comparison on how busy it's been? So long story short for us, it's not going to ruin any magic. It's still going to be wonderful and amazing. Yes, it is frustrating. I will admit it's frustrating because the exact reason we booked this cruise was so that he could go into the Oceaneer Club. But I'm keeping absolutely everything crossed that someone on board is going to be able to help us out with at least one session. Failing that there'll be plenty of open houses and they won't be too busy, and that he can experience the Imagineering just as he dreamed to do for such a long time. Yes, he'll still be able to go to Edge, which he is excited to do. But then obviously his sisters won't be able to do that, so they will be in separate clubs when they go into kids club. Whereas last time they enjoyed all going into the Oceania Club together. So does this affect your cruise? Are you thinking about cruising in the future? Have you already booked? Does this impact you? Let me know in the comments below. It's not just the kids club the children will be doing on the Wish. There are so many different bookable activities that you can book on your Disney cruise. And if you want to find out what some of those bookable activities are and how you book them, check out this video on screen now, and also subscribe with bell notifications on so you do not miss any of the vlogs when we get on the ship. Or check out my Patreon for some early release content. The videos are out every Sunday at 8 AM. Or you can check them out in Patreon just as soon as they're edited. So thanks so much, guys, and see you real soon. Mwah. Bye.